Hello, people of the world, and welcome to today's episode of Coffee Chats with Jax. Today I want to talk to you guys about something that I have been kind of unlearning and relearning multiple times in my life, but a lot right now recently in therapy. It's basically, I don't know what to even call it other than just how to talk to yourself and how to ally yourself. I used to do this group back a few years ago. That was one of the most incredible groups that I've ever done, and a lot of it looked like me sitting around this group of young women, and we would go through the different phases of our lives from like childhood, like 2 to 4, 6, 8, middle school, high school, and we would go back and try and get in that mindset, and we would write a letter to ourself now about what was going on and what we were feeling. And then the coolest part of it was then, as now present Jackie, I was supposed to write back a letter to younger Jackie and ally her and encourage her. I think it's hard in a moment when we mess up or we do something wrong or we feel like we are not okay or we feel like we aren't going anywhere in life. It's really easy to look at ourselves and just feel shame and feel hateful and mad and angry, and we say these things to ourselves that we would never say. We would never say them to our best friend. We would never say them to like a little kid. But then when we think back on our own story, we have all this like annoyance. And so now, currently in therapy, I've been talking a lot with my therapist about, I used to call them my like coping mechanisms for when I was going through a hard time. Like, for example, when I was experiencing depression for the first time when I was a teenager, my way of dealing with it was avoidance and was going out and partying and drinking and avoidance. And then years went on and my new way of like dealing with depression became just totally numbing out, but in a different way, like watching an old Disney Channel show, but just like emotionless, things like that. It would just be like pretending everything was okay when it wasn't, or that's kind of when I developed a bit of an eating disorder. It was all tied into this thing. And as I'm talking with my therapist about that, I sound really upset with myself. I'm like, yeah, I gotta stop doing that, or yeah, that was stupid of me, or yeah, like I don't know why I'm like still doing this and all this stuff, and like it was bad and dumb, and like all the things that I did, I see in my mind like black and white, good and bad. Like those things were bad, and I'm trying to be good. Something I'm learning a lot lately is that it is not black and white. The world is one big gray ball of nuance, and that's what's really cool about it. And so my therapist, she like stopped me and she was like, I just want to try and help you reframe how you're talking about these things that you do or have done. Instead of looking and talking about them negatively, just see them as strategies. See them as your body trying to protect yourself. Because that's really what they are. Like when we experience trauma and then we're going through a time when we are triggered or we're going like downhill or into darkness, like our body wants to help us. Our brain wants to help us. So things like eating disorders or going out and partying, like in reality, those are not helpful or healthy decisions. But instead of just attacking that and looking at that and like trying to deal with these symptoms in this way where you're just so angry and annoyed at yourself, actually look at why you're doing that. What is your body trying to protect you from? What is your body or your brain like trying to help you with? When I started looking at things like that through the eyes of, it's a strategy that my body's using to help me. Like it's not necessarily a healthy strategy, but the point is my body's trying to help me. It's not trying to kill me or defeat me or work against me. And when I heard her talk about this, it really was this new feeling of oneness with my body. Like my body and my brain are not working against me, but they're working for me. Once I realized that, and once you can look at that, it's like now we get to move forward and learn new strategies. Like once we learn like the root of it and what my body is trying to protect me from, once we know that why, then we can start developing these healthy strategies of coping with it in a way that are not damaging to my body or damaging to my life. The main thing in all of this is really just teaching me how to look at myself and teaching me how to talk to myself and feel about myself, because self-talk is a really big thing. Like when we look at the mirror, what we think about our body and we think about ourselves, that matters. It's really special to think back on that group I did where we wrote these ally letters to ourselves, because I think that's something we should all practice in some kind of way. We got to learn how to be a safe place for ourselves, and that might sound weird, but it's been a really big deal for me to learn that this year. Loving yourself well is, I just don't even know what words to use to do it justice, because it's a make it or break it thing. Once you're a safe place for yourself, it's then that you can be a safe place for somebody else. Once you can talk kindly to yourself, it just makes your heart grow a little bit more. It just gives you more understanding for humanity as a whole. The words we use are powerful. The thoughts we have are powerful. And once we're able to look and see what our body is trying to help us with, we can see what we need and why, and we can pinpoint these things. That's all I have for you guys this week. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for caring about what I have to say. These videos are really special because they remind me that I have a voice and that my voice matters, and yours does too. So feel free to send me a message if you want to chat or have any video suggestions. If you want to support me in what I'm doing, like if you enjoy these videos and you want to become a part of my team, my family, go to patreon.com/JackieGTV to find out how to get more involved in what I'm doing. And if you want to read my book, I just published my second one called Finding Home. It's all about belonging and figuring out how to feel at home inside your own skin. Link to purchase that is in the description box below. Love you guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.